Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. So, just me talking about, something from the week. Games, movies, TV. That sort of stuff. You know the drill by now. We've had 98 episodes. Yeah. I'm going to try something new this week. I'm going to thank you for subscribing. You know that thing where people thank you for stuff in advance, which then guilt you into doing it? But I'm not trying to guilt you into it. I'm just saying, thank you for subscribing. If you're a YouTube watcher, or if you're an audio listener and you've subscribed on SoundCloud, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts, I'm thanking you as well. There we go. Anyway, here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. I've realised I have to do that little cough to make sure that I'm actually recording, because I'm having various audio issues these days. So I make it sound like an organic clearing of the throat, but it's actually a functional thing. It's to save me having to sit down and get back up and swear a lot. Little insight there into the world of podcasting. Hi, how you doing? Let's get started with the important stuff. Let's get the important stuff out of the way, right off the bat. Drinking a non-alcoholic beer. Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely. Some weeks when I'm doing like podcast stuff, I have this thing, this fear has gripped me through the whole process of doing my own podcast, that I'll never have anything to talk about. And some weeks I go from like Monday to Thursday and I haven't written anything down. And then sometimes it can be like, alright, it's Monday, I've got nothing to talk about. Alright, well what's there to put on the list? I watched this, I played that, I did this, what's happened? And then over the course of a Monday, like, loads of stuff organically comes up. So there are times when I'm worried that I won't have anything to talk about, but lo and behold, week in, week out, we get to this point in time, and I'm like, well, I've plenty to talk about this week. Some of it might be quick. Pardon me, there's a bit of everything apart from VR. I am working to correct that. It's difficult with a puppy that seems to wake up every time you move or breathe or blink. But we'll get to that soon. At time of recording, we are X amount of time into restrictions being lifted. I think this is like the first of like 3 phases. I'm going to move that because it's already distracting. So this is the one where you can have 6 people together in a garden, and shops and businesses have been allowed to open. I don't want to dwell on this too much. I don't want to talk about it too much. I am going to rant a little bit, just anybody who's been listening to this for a while will know that I've been trying to move away from that just spending the whole time ranting. So I'm just going to go through some stuff really quickly. I'm not a massive fan. If I'm honest, I'm not loving it. Swings and roundabouts, that one. I haven't been able. I haven't had the opportunity to go out with the children to a place, and that makes a big difference. Any parent will know that does make a big difference. So yeah. Again, we'll come back to that. But couple of things. One, and I think I've spoken to a few people about this because you kind of want to gauge almost like the temperature of a situation. So I've spoken to a few people about this, and just this kind of, people are a lot worse now than they were. Like, there's so many rude people out and about, and I get it. Everybody's been locked up for all this time, and you're finally free and you can get out there and do whatever, cause havoc. There's just so many rude people out and about, and it's just, it feels a lot harder to deal with people now. So that's one of the things. I've been in a few situations where I just feel like saying, well, that was incredibly rude. The other thing, and any long time listener will know, a personal favourite subject of mine, the other thing that has gone absolutely out the window is people's driving. I can safely say this is the worst time to be on the roads. It's like people haven't driven. It's almost like people should go and do their driving tests again, because there's just so many baffling situations out on the roads these days. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I am going to say this. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not loving, because for me personally, I was still able to pretty much function, because you still go to the supermarket, you still go X number of places and still get X number of items. Yeah, you couldn't go, you don't really go, well, let's go out for a day trip kind of situation. And yes, that does have an impact. Like I say, being a parent and stuff. But in some ways, that kind of brings your family together a little. In the, you have to make do. So you have to, I feel like you have to sort of band together kind of thing. So yeah. I don't like it when people don't treat other people well. I just find it massively uncalled for. So yeah, it's not an amazing time of things. Let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about puppies. How about that? Now then, where? I'm trying to think if I will have my notes. I'm trying to think about if I talked about this last week. So it's a learning curve for everybody. It's a learning curve for us. It's a learning curve for the children. It's a learning curve for the puppy. It's everybody's learning. The thing I've learned in the last week. Let's work on the principle I didn't talk about last time, and just get on with it. The thing I learned in the last week is, just like a baby, a puppy is basically a baby. Just a lot harder to do with it. The thing about a baby is you hold a baby and that's the end of it. puppies, you know, they're moving, they're active, you know, this sort of thing. So, but like a baby, puppies need their sleep. And if you have a puppy that decides that they're going to go and have a sleep, and then something, you know, changes their mind, or they change their mind, and they then, you know, go past it, and they then, you know, miss a sleep window, and that has a knock-on effect to the next one. And I ended in a situation last Wednesday where said puppy had not slept for 5 hours. And to say he was basically nothing short of crazy, like actually crazy. Just tearing it up. I don't mean like physically tearing it up. I just mean like he couldn't stay still. He was, you know, jumping on the sofa. I'm trying to teach him that his go-to move can't be go on the sofa. Simple as that. I just want to be, you know, you compromise with children and stuff, and you know, you compromise. And what I've been saying all along is, I don't want him to learn that he can go on the sofa, so that when he's a bit older, and you kind of, you know, you're sitting, you're watching a bit of TV or whatever, you can be like, oh, go on then. You can come up on the sofa and sit with me. So it's like a treat. It's like a, you know, like a reward, and you know, with puppies and dogs and stuff like that, there's a reward system, and I don't want him to just take that for granted. You know, especially for a man that pays in treats. But yeah, it was just on the sofa, off the sofa, on the sofa, off the sofa. Me and Lam were tearing our hair out. And you know, the next day we looked back, we looked at it, and it was just like, yeah. So absolutely needs to sleep. So it's been this thing that it's become like this super important thing to make sure he gets his sleep. And it's as similar as the, you know, like with a baby, you soon know about it if they've not slept. So that is my takeaway. As I keep trying to do, I'm trying to give a both sides of the story kind of thing. Over the course of the last week, done some amazing training with him. He's really picking up certain commands. He's just like, yeah, I've got that one down. Other commands, he's like, I've no idea what you're on about, mate. Give us a treat. So yeah, you know, again, swings and roundabouts, strikes and gutters, as the dude would say. So yeah. Delicious non-alcoholic beer. What I will say is, it's not going to be like an every week kind of situation where I'm like, let's talk about puppies. Unless somebody tells me that they want to hear more about puppies. It'll be a situation where I'll probably update like the big stuff. As he looks down at his list, and I'm like, oh man. Speaking of dogs, can I ask? Can somebody let me know if this is just me? I don't know where this comes from. Maybe it's like an insecurity the inside of me. I don't know where this comes from. But when I'm like travelling, either in the car, out on a walk, or out on a run, and I see a man, a fully grown human male, walking down the street, walking a tiny little dog, it makes me, don't want to say the word angry, because that's not what I'm. It doesn't make me angry. It makes me I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm starting to feel that it must be something, something inside of me that's wrong. But yeah, I'm a bit like, what are you doing, walking that tiny little dog? Firstly, and here's, this is probably the place we should start. I don't see there to be a purpose for small dogs. Small dogs to me are like I always use the word yappy, like yappy little dogs. Yappy is annoying, and who needs that in their life? Those little things that just like they jump up and down and they're just yappy 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 yappy. Who wants that? Who wants that? What is that? So that's where it starts. And then when I see like big men walking down the street with these tiny little dogs on leads, like it's a thing, and I'm like, what's going on there? I mean, is it sexist? Am I being sexist? Am I like, you're a man, you can't walk with a tiny little dog? Is that it? I saw it. So this all stems from a situation. I saw a thing the other day. I saw a guy walking down the street. One side, poodle, bright white, like bleached white almost. White poodle. Other side, pristine as well, like had been groomed that very moment. On the other side, Pomeranian. And I was like, what is the situation here? So I came home and I had this conversation with Leanne, and she couldn't really see where I was coming from. So I was like, I know who will get me. I know who will understand. The podcast people, they understand me. They get me. I hope. So, there's a lot of, me talking about how weird I am. In case you haven't worked that one out yet. I had this situation and I was like, oh man. We've got a birthday coming up in the house. At time of recording, there's a birthday coming up in the house. So as you do, gets to birthday o'clock, you tighten the belt, put away the pennies, or in my case, spend like a madman to the point where you go, oh shit, I've got that birthday, and then you have to raid the savings. And by savings, I do of course mean the small amount of money I put away last month. So, this could be it. I'm like, right, I gotta get into birthday zone. That's stop buying, Barbies. Barbies was this weekend's purchase. Stop buying Barbies. Not for me, by the way. And get into the mindset that you've got X number of things that you need to buy. So I started ordering stuff, get this, get that, get the other. Cool. Scrolling through social media, I believe the Insta, and there was this thing, and I was like, well, what's this? It was like, do you want a hat? I'm like, yeah, I love hats. This is something, anybody that has been listening for a while and remembers the whole conversation about like me collecting hats, I've actually gone back to wearing a hat because I am so far past due a haircut that I now have to wear a hat when I leave the house. So there was this thing, I was like, do you want a hat? So yeah, I want a hat, love hats. Do you want a hat for £5? Like, yeah. What is this, like a promotion, or is this like a I can't think what I'm trying to say. Like I don't know. Is it a promotion? £5 hat? No. You can have any of these hats on this website for £5. Like, don't say that. Like, oh, do you like t-shirts? Like, oh, I'm doomed. So my point is, you're trying to save a little bit of money, trying to get into birthday buying mode. Obviously, now is not the time to be buying stuff for myself, and absolutely not the time to stumble across a website that's like, hey, do you want things that you like for cheap? Obviously, when you buy many of those items, it's not as cheap. So yeah, that's not what I was hoping for. Yeah, is that just me? Is that me? Is it me? It's gonna be me, isn't it? So let me tell you about a situation. It's Monday today, as it usually is. Rewind a minimum of 3 days. Let's go back to Friday, but let's face it, it probably started before that. So I was worried. I was very, 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 very worried about the weekend. So obviously we've got this situation where it's like, oh man, the dog needs to sleep, the puppy needs to sleep, like a baby needs to sleep. Puppy can't sleep when 3 children are tearing it up. This is bad news. So what do we do? How do we deal with this situation? So I'm like, okay, here's the plan. Keep the puppy and the children separated. Get the children out of the house. Get the children away from the puppy. Allow the puppy the chance to sleep. Winner, chicken dinner. Yum, yum, yum. So planned Saturday. Okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to go here, we're going to do this, we're going to do some jobs. Everybody loves doing jobs. But what that means is gets everyone out of the house, the jobs get done, bonus. Might see about getting everyone a little treat, i.e. the Barbies. Everybody's winning. Puppy gets to sleep, which means it's in a better mood, easier to deal with. The children don't have to deal with a puppy that's overtired and causing havoc. Get some jobs done. Everybody gets a treat. Is there a better scenario than this? I think not. Well, that's Saturday. What about Sunday? Okay, Sunday. Same again. Get the girls out, but this time do something fun for children fun. Let's go somewhere. Oh, well, places are open now. Okay, where's we're close, but you don't want to be close. You don't want to go too far. Blah, 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 blah. What about Beetlebank Farm? Yep, sounds good. How much? What's the situation? Do you need to book? Yes, you need to book. It's this much money. Nana will come help out with the children. Puppy can stay at home. Lamb's on puppy duty. Chicken dinners all around. So, although this was planned to the fine details, almost to the minutes. We can get out to the park, play some football, play some basketball, do all of these things. Keep the children out of the house, keep the puppy calm and able to sleep. Everyone wins. So, Saturday starts with a calm puppy and 3 calm children. I'm like, now I need to rewind ever so slightly because I didn't put enough emphasis into how worried I was. I was freaking out, worried. I was terrified, worried. I was I'm not afraid to say I was emotional about this situation. So of course, cue calm puppy, calm children. I'm like, what? What's happening here then? Yeah. Puppy's like, hey, you guys. I like you guys. Cool. Let's do this. Should we play? I'm like, what's happening right now? So yeah, that's the situation. I'm like, hang on a minute. Let's not get too comfortable here. Let's just see. So I went ahead with the plan. Let's go, let's get out there, let's get the jobs done. So we went, did the jobs. Name of the game was get everybody, get some treats. Mostly for the puppy. There was a chew toy situation that needed to be rectified. So let's get that sorted. Alright, what if we're getting something for the dog, we've got to get something for the cat. I'm like, really? That's a thing? Okay. Leon's like, oh, get me something for the garden. Okay. Then all the children. Have I got any money? Yeah, you got some money. Can I spend it? If you want. Alright, I'm getting a Barbie. Okay. What about you? I'm getting a Barbie as well. Okay. Cool. The youngest didn't come with us. I believe at the time she was sleeping. And as is often the case, she ends up missing out, bless her, because often she's not there. And I started looking at stuff. I started looking at like these Frozen dolls and things, and I'm like, I want to get that Frozen doll. She'll love that. And I was like, that doll that's exactly the same as the one she's got at home. Anyway, everybody got something apart from the youngest. Bless her. Ooh! I didn't get anything. I'm trying to think. I don't think I got anything. There we go. She wasn't the only one that didn't get anything. So that's that. Job done. Everyone's happy. Get back. Calm puppy. Calm children. Children with toys. Distracted children. And yeah. So basically, Saturday comes and goes, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what? I can't stress how worried I was about this situation. And I worried and worried and worried. And when people say, oh, you're worried for nothing, it's like, yeah, I guess. So at this point in time, I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Sunday's going to go a little bit like this. We're going to get up, we're going to get sorted, we're going to get ready. We're going to go to Beetlebank Farm. Presumably that's going to be a good time. And also that means that the puppy's going to be allowed to sleep and chill out and relax, not be overwhelmed with all the people. So that's going to be... I'm like, I don't... Okay. And yes, for that part of the story to end, what I will say is that that's exactly what happened. We got up, we went to Beetlebank Farm, puppy slept, rested and all of that, and that's that. Now, a couple of things here. Number one, apparently the best way to start the day was at 10 to 6. And I don't just mean that one child gets up at 10 to 6 and goes, hey, it's 10 to 6, I'm awake, so you should be. No. No. It's 10 to 6 and I've got 3 children wandering around like it's freaking party time. I'm like, what is happening right now? I've got one child coming to me and being like, Oh, everyone's awake. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? Check the time, I'm like, oh, it's really, really early. That was the end of that conversation. A little bit later, I've got, Daddy, my Kindle says it's not working. Like, it's not saying it's not working, darling. What it's saying to you is that it's too early. It hasn't switched on yet because of how early it is. I imagine right now you can hear in my voice how I was throughout the rest of the day, because the whole time I'm like the way I would describe it is like nails on a chalkboard every minute of the day going, why did the day need to start at 10 to 6? All I would have got out of it was another 25 minutes. And then I would have got up. That's it. In fact, no, I'm lying. 35 minutes I would have got out of it. But you know, as an adult, a parent, everything that's going on right now, those 35 minutes are precious. Anyway, let's talk about Beetlebank Farm and the absolute shit show that freaking place is. You know when you know a situation's going to be a bad situation? You know beforehand. So let's flip back. Do you remember when I was saying about the conversation? How do we get this Beetlebank Farm situation started? Does it need booking? Yes, it needs booking. You remember that. I said it. You heard it. So, yes, it needs booking. And that's what was done. Now here's where it gets a bit sketchy. They took the money and they gave a confirmation of the order, which had an order number. And that was it. No time was booked, no nothing. It's like, okay, well, you know, the best thing to do is to turn up, get rocking. Not an amazing start when you pull into the car park and someone's like, oh, have you booked? Like, yeah. Okay, can you park over there? Yeah. Can you bring it in nice and tight to the car next to you? Yeah. I drive over the car that's there. People are getting in and out. People are loading pushchairs. Doors open. I pull up, go in. They've got their doors open. We need to open our doors. Job done. But the guy told me to pull in tight. So what I'll do right now is I'll pull up to like the door, the open doors. Work on the principle that we can just sit, wait for the car to be sorted. The people in the car to be sorted. They'll shut the doors. They'll walk away. We can get out. Job done. So obviously, the guy comes and is like, are you going to need to move your car closer to this car here? I'm like, cool. I can then hear the woman, I jest. I can then hear the woman from the car next to us, complaining to the guy about him telling us to pull our car closer to theirs, and all I can hear is, well, it's not, I just don't want to come back to our car with a load of dents in the side of it. I'm like, number one, I can see your point. However, number two, what you're saying is that me and my family are going to dent your car? You can, anywho. The other thing I noticed pulling into the car park was the massive queue. Yep. Because when you don't get a booking time, or even like, you know, come in the morning or the afternoon, everybody turns up at the same time. Now, straight away, I know what you're thinking. Well, you could have gone at a different time. No, I couldn't. I'd planned to go in the morning, and there was no time to book. So I'll just go in the morning. You haven't told me when to come. We were at Beetlebank Farm for 2 hours. I'm going to say, conservatively, 2 hours. A third of the time that we were there was spent queuing to get in. There was absolutely zero social distancing in said queue. And other than me, Leanne's mum, and a smattering of other people, nobody was wearing any masks because, we're outside. Obviously, see, go back to the comment of no social distancing. It took so long to get in. So there's that. Absolute shit show. Absolute shit show. What they are thinking in this given situation, I do not know. We were talking about it. Even my eldest was like, they only care about the money. That's a child, and her response to saying about the situation was, they only care about the money. Eventually, we got in there. So they're like, go and see the animals, book your place for holding an animal, and that's that. So we went into the bar. Oh, this was something else, and I was like, oh, fuck you. It's getting ranty, but I'm just, there are certain things in this life situation that we're in at the moment that are acceptable, and there are certain things that aren't. It wasn't exactly cheap to go. Let's get that out, on Front Street. So when the woman's like, oh, you booked in, blah, 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 give us your own number, all of this, and then it's like, and how many bags of animal food would you like? Right. Here's the bit where I'm guessing that animal food ain't gonna be free. Now, I was like, I'm sorry, what? How many bags of animal food would you like? I was like, oh, at least 3. Oh, they're 50p each. Now, yes, it's £1.50. Yes, you can buy literally nothing for £1.50 these days. And if it means that the children are happy with getting to feed the animals, I am happy to spend that money. But there was no question. It was just, you are going to buy animal food. I am not giving you an option in this, and I am going to tell you that you are going to pay for it. And I, like I say, yes, it was £1.50, but it was just the way it was done. The insult that went with it, I think, is the way I'm looking at that one. So, it's alright, the story gets better from here. We go to see the animals. Signs everywhere, please make sure you're wearing a mask inside the barn. It's always a joy to watch the people wandering around with no masks on. I love that. That's my favourite thing ever. Then what we've got is there's a one-way system. Nobody's following the one-way system. That's fun. But hey, there's animals, there's goats, there's sheep, there's lambs. I took some pictures of these lambs. If I didn't know better, I'd have said they were fake. And by that I mean, if I didn't see them moving, they're moving in front of my eyes, and I still thought they were fake. So yeah, goats, sheep, lambs, little goat, little kids. Then you move on. You've got guinea pigs, rabbits. Saw a massive rabbit. I also saw not a giant guinea pig. It was a guinea pig that was just this ball of hair. It was hilarious. Then you've got some chicks. few more baby goats and stuff. So we're feeding. You've got the one child that goes through the bag of food like they basically opened the top and threw it. You've got the one child that likes the idea of feeding the animals, yet doesn't want to feed the animals. And then you've got the other child that has been given a bag of food, but works on the principle that they need to keep, like save it. So yeah. Well, that situation. I hear somebody talking to one of the people that work there. How do you go about booking for holding an animal? They're like, when do you want to do it? Whenever. How They're like, it can fit you now. If there's space over there, you go and sit down. We'll bring you an animal. By this point, I'm in the vicinity, so I was like, how'd you go about booking to hold an animal? How many of you? There's 5 of us. How many people to hold animals? There's 3 of us. Okay, well, I can fit you in now. Okay, you can fit us in now. That sounds fantastic. Right, come on then, girls, you get yourselves a seat. So I had 2 children with me. One child was milling around, slightly removed from me and the other 2. So they get a seat, job done, everyone's happy. Right, waiting for animals. I said to the youngest, gonna hold an animal. Super excited, turned round, takes a couple of steps, falls flat on her face. And when I say falls flat on her face, I mean the thing that stopped her fall was her face. So, yeah. Tears, all of this. Next thing, blood. And lots of it. And all I can think is, oh God, she's going to have put her teeth through her lip. She's bitten the end of her tongue off. She's lost a tooth. All of that. So basically she'd put her teeth into her lip. Nana took her off to go and get some first aid, to go to reception. At this point in time, I'm desperately trying to hold it together. And there's this big part of me that really wants to cry. And it's one of those things. If you're a parent, I'm sure you will understand what I mean by that. Your child is hurt, and at this point in time, not a huge amount I can do about it. Badly hurt. Like I say, there was a lot of blood. But then I've got this other situation where I've got 2 other children that are sitting there like, hey, we're going to roll a rabbit. I'm like, cool, I'm going to have a cry. How does that fit with you guys? So I'm like, that's not going to fit with them, I'm sure. So I need to hold it together. So I'm trying my best to hold it together whilst desperately trying to, work on the principle it's going to be fine, all of this. It's that thing, isn't it? Children are very resilient. She was fine. She is fine. She spent the day looking like she had like a lip filler, like one of those Botox lips, which was somewhat funny and also not at the same time. All these scratches all over her nose and that, and that was that. As far as Beetlebank Farm is concerned, it was fine. It was a fine experience. I took 3 very tired children, which is something that will always and forever baffle the shit out of me. Are you tired? Okay. You can't function because you're that tired. You're grumpy and you're upset and easily upset. My favourite has to be, Daddy, can you put me in the swing and push me? Yeah. Okay. Put child in swing, push. Child starts crying because, that's right, she didn't want me to push her. I'm like, you literally asked me to put you in the swing and push you. So yeah, lots of tired children, lots of situations. There was X number of animals to see. Great. There was a lot of like play park stuff. Great. There was a lot of open space. Great. It was a lovely sunny day. It was fine. I feel that it was horrifically badly organised. I can't imagine that they are 100% sticking to the guidelines that they should be, certainly with things like their queuing system and the way that they're just basically, it's just a free-for-all. Personally, I think they really do need to look at their booking system alone, let alone anything else. So that was that. I feel like I've been talking for forever. I'm sure you do too right now. Just finished that beer off there. Okay, let's talk entertainment. I watched episode 6 of Invincible. Not a good episode. It was a bit boring. I've written down here, bit dull. It's also that thing of we've hit the character Mark, Invincible, not actually that great a superhero. Just basically spends his time getting the shit kicked out of him. And I was having a conversation with podcast alum, long time suffering friend Luke today, and I was saying, I get it, and I really do like the not every superhero is Superman. Superheroes are vulnerable to a degree, and that makes them a little bit more relatable when they are shown to be vulnerable. I get it. But literally at this point in time, his purpose is to get the shit kicked out of him. So I'm like, what is the point to this? A little bit spoiler territory, but I do wonder where the storyline for the dad is going to go at this point, because of developments in the episode. I think it's just that simple thing of I had high hopes for this series, and to start off with, it really lived up to it. I was just blown away by it. And then it had a bit of a blip with an episode, and then it just came back really strong. And then this episode, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good, thanks. It's not for me, thank you. My hope is that it comes back strong again. Again, I'm hoping it's just a bit of a blip of an episode. The problem you've got when you're running, rather than a 25-minute episode, a 45-minute episode, is if it's not very good, if it is a little bit dull or not great, it's a lot of not great. There's this romance element to the story, and I wish they'd just go one way or the other. I wish they would pick a lane, basically. Like, either he needs to do the I'm a superhero storyline, or he needs to not be doing the relationship side of things, because it's already annoying. Obviously I'll keep watching, but if there's going to be more of this, it's going to be hard to keep watching. I feel like we've already hit a bit of a stumble. Where does it go from? Where would the show go from here? Where should it be going from here? So there's kind of that. I watched a couple of films, but I can't imagine you want to sit and listen to me talking about Friday. It's that kind of thing. There's been a couple of points where I'm like, I just want to put something on that I don't overly have to think about. I think, like, with the whole with the puppy sitting and the puppy stuff, and just being like generally quite tired, it's difficult to go, oh, I'm going to put a film on that I'm not going to watch because I might fall asleep or I might not be overly interested at points. You know, that kind of thing. So I can't imagine you want me to talk about a Naruto film. A little water to wet the whistle. So, I am going to talk about a thing I watched last night. I'm flicking through Netflix. Now, I pretty much never use Netflix. I've really got into this thing where I just don't feel Netflix has anything for me. And weirdly, that's probably not true. But I just got into that mindset where I'm just like, Netflix has nothing for me. But I ended up in a situation where I was like, I've got a load of stuff on Prime to watch, but there is basically all films. And I was like, I don't want anything too heavy right now. So I remembered I had the end of this Naruto film to watch, so I put that on and watched it. Finished it. Cool. So then I'm like in this limbo between I want to watch something else before I put a game on to play. So because I'm already on Netflix, I start scrolling through. Ended up in the animation section. And I'm just like flicking through, seeing if there's anything interesting there. Fell upon this thing, and I was reading like the title of it. So the title was, "If Anything Happens, I Love You." And I saw that it said that it was a 2021 Oscar nominee. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Animated. So I read the blurb, and while I'm reading the blurb, the little trailer thing that Netflix often does when you land on stuff starts playing. So I read it, and the trailer thing's playing. By the time the trailer had ended, I was crying. I looked how long it was. I thought about what was the right thing to do. It was 12 minutes long. I was like, this is probably the worst idea ever, because I was already crying. I was like, I'm going to watch this. 12 minutes long. I cried for every moment of the 12 minutes it was on. I am not too much of a man to admit that. It was awful. I don't mean awful bad. I mean it was just the thoughts surrounding it. No, there's no speech in it. It's just animation and music. Some of you might have gathered a little bit of something about what it might be about from the title. Like I say, if anything, it's called "If Anything Happens, I Love You." To give you a little idea, it's the story of a man and a woman, husband and wife, parents of a daughter. I suppose trying to get their lives back on track after a school shooting. It's set in America, and no spoilers, but I think you can guess the situation. It was awful. I cried every minute of it. And by the end of it, I was just like, we live in such a baffling world. We live in such a baffling situation where, you know, there is a country that exists that has multiple mass shootings a week. Yet the first thing that happens after these mass shootings is you've got somebody telling you how it's their right to have all these guns. And all I could think was, you tell that to the face of a parent who sent their child off to school that day and never saw them alive again. That's what you should have to do. If you are going to say that it is your right to have a gun, then you should have to say that looking in the eyes of a parent that sent their child to school one day and never saw them alive again. It's that simple. Just such a baffling world. And it's that thing. I probably wasn't in the best mindset for something like that, and in some ways, in a lot of ways, it's a subject that's close to me. So yeah, I watched that. I cried. It should absolutely win an Oscar. My hope would be that it might be able to do some good somewhere along the line. But like I say, with the world we live in, I very much doubt it, which is a shame. Computer games, like I say, no VR. I've been mulling through some different ways. I might possibly look into the virtual desktop app. Yeah, I'm currently looking at what I believe is the spider that has made a rather impressive cobweb inside my VR headset, which is like a I don't think metaphor is the right. It's like a statement, I guess. Yes, Spider. It's very sad. I agree with you. Other than the fact that you've got yourself a nice home. I'm trying to work on ways to rectify this VR thing. I've got a huge pile of VR games that need to be played. So we need to get that sorted, amongst a bajillion other things. All I can tell you about is console games, and those console games we're going to talk about. The only game I've actually played is Outriders. I honestly don't know what to tell you about this game. I think the short version is it's probably not the game for me. It's a little bit too Gears of War and not enough not Gears of War. Those games, no matter how hard I try, those games just are not for me. And this is coming from a man who's played nearly all of the Gears of War games. Outriders is just... So here's what I've written down. Outriders, the most meh game ever. It's fine. I am playing it. I am progressing. There are so many things that it doesn't do very well, and it doesn't do right. And there are so many that I can't even be bothered to go into it. That's what I'm talking about. That's how the game makes me feel. It's like, oh, this isn't very good, and that's not done very well. Oh, they could improve it like this. But I can't even be bothered to go into it because I don't feel strongly enough about it. And I don't want to be like super negative. It's fine. It's just it invokes no real reaction from me, and I think that's the point. I remember doing a podcast at one point. Sure, I did it with Leanne, and we were talking about a film And I felt that she'd given it such a scathing review by saying that it just didn't prompt any reaction from her at all. And that always stuck with me as a, wow, that's a powerful review. That's what I feel about Outriders. I feel like I'm like, I mean, if I cared, I'd give you more. The fact that I am playing as a particular class of character, and I know that there are 3 other classes, and the thought of having to play as the other classes just makes me, I'm just like, oh dear God, no. It's that sort of stuff. These are the things that I'm going through with this game. The only other thing I wanted to talk about game-wise was that there's been even more updates for Cyberpunk since I last played it. I'm not hearing anything about whether these updates are better or worse for the game. I don't know. I can't tell you because I've not played it. But yeah, I think that's another. Not wanting to go backwards, I think that's another element of this whole Outriders thing. I'm very much in the camp of, I just need to get it finished so I can go back to playing Cyberpunk. And I think that's a statement in itself, you know, one of the single most broken games ever made. And I'm like, I just need to get back to playing that. So yeah, there we go. I obviously at this point in time do feel like I should probably apologise somewhat. I do feel that this was probably quite a ranty podcast, and you know, I hope you know at this point in time that it's not, you know, it's not my intention. It's not what I set out to do. It's something I've actively tried to steer away from. But I think every now and then you just gotta have a bit of a vent, haven't you? Maybe I'm not getting enough fibre in my diet. Who knows? That's it for this one. So there we go. By the sounds of it, I need to go and shout at a cat, maybe. We'll find out in a minute. Right, there we go. See you later. So there we go. What do you think of that? Another one done. Creeping ever closer to that 100th episode that I'm making a real big deal about, and I still have no idea what I'm actually going to do for it. If you've got an idea, drop it in the comments section. You know, while you're subscribing on YouTube or iTunes or SoundCloud, you know, wherever you get your podcasts. Just subscribe and then drop a comment. Naked podcast? Did somebody say naked podcast? I mean, you know, it's not out of the realms of possibility. So there we go. That's it for this one. Till next time, I want to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.